now let's go into the heart of the 72 Flybridge, which, as I always like to say, is where everything happens. So in this particular case, we have MAN 12V, 1400 horsepower each, standard shaft line. So we have the engine and the gearbox following. It's not a V-drive configuration. Important is that behind that bulkhead is the master head on this side and the walk-in closet on that side. And those two together make a sort of, if you wish, an insulation air pocket. So even navigation at night, if the owner would like to move and cover some ground at night, the master cabin is still very quiet because the bed side is isolated by a very significant air pocket, which will be the bathroom and the walk-in closet. That's why we do that kind of configuration. A very significant part of this 72 Flybridge, which I really wanted to look at, is this. Look at the height. I'm 6 feet and I have, this is probably 7 feet. It's a 7 feet high engine room. So that gives you an idea about the amount of space. This, of course, safety handrails, 2 sets in the engine room, but the height and the space of this engine room at 72 feet is really second to none. This is the place where you work, where you want to do your engine work, maintenance, mechanics might come in and do your service, so they are comfortable. Look at the amount of free space that you have on top of each of the 2 fuel tanks, which are, by the way, 680 gallons each. And that amount of space, for instance, can be all used to build, easy build a custom framing shelving to store even extra parts and service material. That gives you an idea of the easiness of access of components that should be accessed very often. This is, your engine sea strainer. Give us the opportunity to appreciate the bronze fittings. So again, Azimut yachts standard, every fitting which have raw water going through it and is at or below the water line, so in contact with water, which means corrosion. So water equal conductive electricity, electricity or metal equal corrosion. Every fitting is in bronze, and we say that because A, safety. So your fitting will last longer and they are made of the best material available on the marketplace, but also cost. Bronze fitting is much more expensive than standard fitting. So there is always a reason why some product might cost more than others, and especially if they're built in the same environment, same labor, same bill of material. If something costs more and something costs less, usually when you start digging and scratching, you understand the reason why. So for instance, we like to show, in this case, the quality of material of the fittings. Another important, while we are connected to the engines, which are connected to our gearbox, which are connected to our shaft and to our propellers, we have a 5 blades Class S, standard from the factory, propellers on the 72 Flybridge. While we are at it, of course, insulated exhaust system. This also is an option available for the 72 Flybridge. So these are all shelving for parts and spares to keep in the engine room. So is this. So another big, nice, strong, and very, very sturdy, large shelf on top of the generator. Why wasting this space? So this is perfect for spares. These are the 224 kW we discussed about before, which are not needed together to feed the boat. One is more than enough. The 24 kW generator, in Europe, to give you an idea, an apartment is 3 kW. The power provided from the FPL of Europe to each apartment is 3 kW. This is 24 kW, is 8 apartments in one unit. So you can feed 16 apartments in Italy from these 2 units right here. You have plenty of power. This again, while you're pointing at them, rake or filter double, you can select one boat or the other. So in case you have a problem with fuel which would contaminate one filter, you can take care of it and then use the other. Rake or filter also for your Janis 1 and 2 right here, so fairly easily accessible. And this is actually your air conditioning system. So you have no compressed gas and freon in the boat. All the compressed gas operation happens here. This is your raw water pump, again bronze fittings from raw water, and this is your raw water pump for the air conditioning system. So that takes water from the ocean, goes up in here, goes into the coils of these compressing units, cool them down, and this is the chill water pump loop. So what these guys do, they produce cold. They produce energy in terms of cold, which then make water. There's a chill water loop of fresh water. Imagine a closed loop of water, which is thrown around the boat by this pump right here, where you monitor your pressure right here. But this very cold water goes around the boat, passes in front of every single of the fan coil, and then becomes conditioned air. So, but all your technical, noisy, and gas, you don't want to have gas leaks on board, is here in the engine room, technical space. You can appreciate the quality of construction, labeling, insulation, installation. These panels right here, you might wonder why they're here. Access to your shaft logs. You want to always make sure that you're able to check what is going on here. This is a very, very important part of boating in general. You always want to have access and make sure that all your bonding wires protecting every underwater metal on board are in place, secure, properly labeled, and doing their job. Same is here. This is a very convenient access to some of your smaller sea strainers. You have air conditioning here, the two generators, 1 and 2, and that one in the middle is the predisposition for water metal. So every Azimut yachts come with that unit right there. What that means? Means that if you want to install a water maker, and we typically recommend customers to install water makers in their markets. Water makers require a lot of parts, a lot of maintenance. You want to make sure that you buy the model and the brand which is best service in your area. That being said, water maker predisposition means that you can install a water maker. There is already a through hull and a filter. Means that when to install a water maker, you don't need to take the boat out of the water and make a hole in the hull. A, you would spend money to take the boat out of the water. B, you don't want random people around the world to make holes in the hulls. So we do that for our customers. The only thing they need to do is connect the water line to that cap right there, and there is already a water line going to the freshwater tank, so they don't need to run that, and there is already power coming to the electrical panel there for the water maker. So the only thing you need to do when you install a water maker on any Azimut is basically buy the component and set them up in the engine. No need for haul out, no need to take the boat apart to run electrical and plumbing. So that's the water maker predisposition. Another clever access would be that is the back of the gangway. The gangways have sensors, which sometimes they go out of alignment and the gangway all of a sudden will stop working. 9 out of 10 times is really enough to take a tool wrench and readjust the sensor. So you open that door right there with the handle and you access the sensor and you can readjust your gangway without the need of doing a major dismantling to access it. As far as the engine room, of course, all the batteries are boxed and vented. You want to know how much fuel you have in your tank. So what you do, you press this button right here and this button right here to make sure that you create communication on this line. So remember, when you check a visual fuel indicator of the tank, you need to press both buttons, okay? And once you've done, that gives you the amount of fuel you have. You see right here, I know that I have 3/4 of a tank as far as fuel is concerned. Battery charger, best brand available on the market, Mastervolt. Genset batteries, easily accessible. Genset mufflers on that side. So if we go here, let me see. This is a little bit more interesting panel. So as you can see, you know, this is the way everything is designed. If you want to look also at the back of the door, I mean, you know, there is this is the way they are executed, and labeled every cable, every contactor. These are actually a contactor will distribute power from shore and generator to the boat, and so these are actually three very important guys that give you an idea again of the backstage of the unit.